Welcome everybody to Developing Your Leadership. Really excited to be going through this training session with you today. And I just wanted to start off with a quick quote by one of my favorite mentors, Jim Rohn. You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. That is something you have charge of. So as we get started on learning about developing your leadership, we're going to talk about how it comes from within. Let me introduce myself. My name is Julie Boyer, and I'm a Goal Director with Game Changers International. I've been working with our team for over 6.5 years, and last year I was honored to be a member of the Top 25 Growth in North America. I have also previously been a top preferred customer enroller. This year, for 2012-13, I am a member of the Power of 11, which is a mentorship program that involves 11 different mentors from across Canada to help support not only our members of Game Changers International, but all of the teams across Canada. On a personal note, I'm a 3-time Ironman finisher, and I graduated with a degree in kinesiology from McMaster University. After spending a number of years working in blue chip careers, I spent several years teaching French overseas. I am now very happy to say that I'm a work-from-home mom. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I get to choose when I work and when I get to spend time with her. So as I mentioned, when we're talking about developing your leadership, the first thing to do is lead yourself. Ask yourself, would you want to work with yourself? And if the answer is no, then the first thing you have to do is to develop your own personal leadership skills. Now, if you're not entirely sure what those skills are or where you need to improve, I suggest asking your close friends and family to do an honest analysis of your strengths and weaknesses. Ask them to be brutally honest. It might be hard to hear sometimes, but sometimes that feedback is what can actually help us to move to the next level. Some of my favorite resources for leadership include The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma. In fact, any of Robin Sharma's books are excellent. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. John C. Maxwell has written a number of books on leadership, but I find that the 21 Irrefutable Laws is the base of all of these, so it's where you want to start. It's available as an audio program as well. And finally, Educating Your Expectations. This is an audio program by Artemis Limpert, and it's specifically directed towards network marketing. So you may have actually purchased this when you first started building your business, but at this point in time, as you start to grow and learn and you're working towards higher leadership levels, take a second or third listen to it, as you will hear it much differently than when you were first starting out. It's like how she says, when you first start in the business, all you can see is your backyard. As you start to grow it as a leader, then you can see your neighborhood. And when you become a true leader in the business, you can actually see the view from a world perspective. So when you listen to a program again, as you grow and mature in your career, you'll find that different things stand out. Now you'll want to be leading by example. And this is key because sometimes people fall into the trap. You know, they built a team, they've got 3 or 4 good people working on their team, and they sit back, relax, and take on the management mode. That's really one of the big differences between a corporate business and a business with USANA. It's not about managing your team. It's really about leading them and inspiring them to achieve their goals as you reach and aspire to achieve your goals as well. So 4 of the pillars that are the basics of our business, and these never change, is to invite, present, follow up, and enroll. So take a look right now at your business. It doesn't matter if you're doing it part-time or full-time. Are you doing the 4 pillars on a regular basis? Are you inviting people to look at the business? Are you presenting to them? Do you have daily follow-ups? And are you enrolling? If you find that you're having problems with any one of these pillars, or you're challenged and your business is not growing or you're not enrolling, I suggest you speak to your upline leader on how you can improve this particular area yourself. So you really want to be relearning the basics. You're actually becoming the teacher. So what you're doing is not only solidifying your business, but you're teaching and showing your team how to do those 4 pillars. You know, we've talked about duplication in many trainings, and very important as you develop as a leader to think about when you're taking action or when you're putting a plan together, is this something that my team can duplicate? Now, often when it's some way of organizing your business or putting things together for your team, that is something fantastic that can be duplicable, especially if it helps to save time. But if you're doing something that costs a lot of money, let's say you do make a really good income with your primary job and you do your business part-time. Perhaps you want to invest in several different wellness and health shows per year. Well, that may or may not be something that your team can duplicate, and they may find it frustrating if you've built your business solely doing these shows. They may not be able to actually duplicate that same thing because they may not be in the same financial situation when they start the business. So it's important to know that some of the things that we do in our business, our team is going to be able to duplicate, but not every single thing we do, everyone is going to be able to duplicate. So take a look at what kind of actions you're doing, and is my team learning from me, and are they duplicating my results? So let's say I do 1 or 2 shows a year, and I get a few preferred customers, occasionally an associate maybe from a show. So then my team says, okay, well, I want to do a show as well. Well, are they learning from my mistakes and my challenges and getting preferred customers and associates from the shows as well to make it worth their while? And if none of us are getting the results from this, then maybe it's something that we shouldn't be duplicating. Maybe we need to look at the plan again and find a different way to grow. So your team is always watching you. So if you're doing a particular action, then they're going to follow it. If you're taking action every Sunday and sending your goals to your sponsor, your team will listen to that and learn from that and be sending you their goals as well. So super important, a simple thing like sending your goals to your upline every Sunday can have a huge impact on your business. So it's again something your team can learn from you and duplicate your results by setting goals. And finally, let's talk a bit about time management. Now this truly goes back to who are you spending your time with. So as you become a leader, you want to spend some of your time with your team and some of your time, of course, building your business. It becomes a bit of a challenge, especially when you only have a few people on your team. You think, well, I really want to be there to support my team. I want to be there to help them and do presentations with them. But truly, the key is to work with those people that are building the business. So you may have people on your team that say they're going to show up to events and don't bother to, that set up a training call with you and don't follow up, that ask you for help and advice, and when you give them tasks to complete, they don't complete them. So ask yourself, should I really be spending time with these people? You'll have business builders on your team who are showing up at events, calling you for training calls, and showing up prepared for those training calls. They may or may not have the volume to show yet, but you know that they're dedicated and treating this as a business. So those are the people you're going to be wanting to spend your time with, especially your brand new associates. That first 8 weeks when they join and they're going for Platinum Pace Setter, that's where your time should be. It's important to have that balance between leading and building. So you're leading your team, you're inspiring your team, but you're continuing to build at the same time. We have many leaders on our team at Game Changers who actually do this really, really well. So they inspire and they lead, but they continue to build and build and build. And that is why Game Changers International is the fastest growing team in North America. And finally, giving your leaders space. So as your leaders start to grow, the best thing you can do is to give them space. Give them a chance to call you Sana and problem solve for themselves. Let them figure out a challenge with their team member. One of the questions I love to ask someone when they call me with a challenge with someone on their team is, well, if you had the same challenge, what would you say? Or if I came to you with that challenge, how would you deal with it? So turning it around, asking them to look at, okay, well, if I was dealing with this, this is what I would do. Or if, I had this challenge and went to you, you would say this, this, and this. I love saying, what would Leanne Graychuck do? So she's a diamond director. What would she do and say in this situation? And chances are she would say, let's discipline our disappointments. Let's move on. Don't worry. Don't sweat the small stuff. Move on to the next big thing. And that's really, like I said, about giving your leaders space, giving them time to grow, and to become the leader that they were meant to be. So I really encourage you to take time to develop your leadership personally, and then work with those up-and-coming leaders on your team to duplicate that success.